Welcome to the Downtown, brought to you by Arlington Citizen Media. I am Daryl Smith Jr., and across the internet for me is...
I am Rody John, and across the interwebs for me is...
Amy.
On today's show, we talk to the voice of your UTA men's basketball team about how your men's team is doing, about how he prepares for a game, and how his fashion choices come to be.
All right. We also speak with Robbie and Tony, local Arlington residents and longtime musicians, about what drew them to music, growing up in the city of Arlington, and, of course, their favorite pizza place.
What has everyone been up to, besides talking to the always wonderful Josh Sowers? I saw one of his calls recently that he made. He, lost it, and it was in a good way. It was a very nice, it was a fun, game-winning shot, and he lost it. And I was like, I talked to that guy. That guy's so great.
What's great about it, it's a two-part video. You have to watch the shot and the call as it's happening, and then you have to go back, and there's video of just him doing, the video is on him doing the call. It's great. So good.
I love the energy he brings to UTA athletics, because a lot, and even for someone growing up here, I wasn't I wasn't a huge fan of UTA, obviously, just the hometown school, but having gone there, obviously, and being an alumni, I am more interested in it now, and I think he is a wonderful addition to that program. It makes a program that otherwise might not get any, I wouldn't say recognition, but he definitely brings a very cool aspect to it, and I appreciate him for that.
Oh, without a doubt. We also get into his favorite Celsius energy drinks. So
okay,
yeah, because
digging deep.
Yeah. Well, he what he does with every game, he'll post a picture of what his view is, and so of course you get to see his notes in front of him, and then there's always usually about a Celsius over there, and I was like, oh, I also drink that. What do you like to drink?
Bam! Look at that, making connections.
I do what I can.
Well, me and my family went to the Lunar New Year at Asia Times Square. That was last weekend. We are now in the year of the ox.
Ooh.
So Happy New Year. It was really cool. And of course, I guess ordinarily they have dragon dancers and, fire stuff and a million food stalls and all this stuff. But because of COVID, it was extremely cut down. So there was just, they were giving little poppers, those firecracker poppers to kids, and they had a few food booths open, and I tried sugarcane juice, actual, they take the whole rod and put it in a presser right in front of you. It was really good. And I had a matcha waffle and some stick meat and some omelet that I don't know what it was called, but it was really good. And we had a really fun time. It was fun for the family. They had lots of photo ops set up around, and I'm excited about going next year when it's bigger.
Right.
Hopefully. Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and that's at Asia Times Square, which is usually just a cool place in Arlington over on 360 and Pioneer.
Yeah, that place is the food court in that place is a major foodie destination in the Metroplex.
Yeah,
people really talk about that place as having some really great and innovative and fun food.
It's huge in there too.
It is. Oh, and they have a whole grocery store in there as well. For you can get durian fruit and jackfruit, and they have a huge seafood section. Speaking of seafood, my daughter, of course, asked for an entire bag of snow crab to take home, which stunk up the car. It still smells. My jacket smells. It's got to go to the dry cleaning. But she was happy as a little kid eating a pound of crab.
Happy as a crab in a shell, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want that stuffed belly of that? I mean,
glad
she got it early. Yeah, she realized that stuff early. Some of us didn't realize how good snow crab is until much later in life.
I mean, it's kind of scary to a kid if you think about it. It's spiny.
Yeah.
There's legs. There's no body.
Leave it to humans to be yeah, we can eat that.
Yeah, if there's something, we've definitely tried to eat it.
Yep. Just heat it up a little bit and you're fine.
Put a little garlic on it. It'll be good.
How about you, Daryl? Anything?
My wife has COVID, so no, I have been running a house, single-handedly, and let me just, to all you single parents out there, God bless you. It is tough to, corral children, get them to school. Well, actually not get them to school because they can't go to school because of the aforementioned COVID. But making sure,
You got to wake them up.
I do. Got to wake them. I got to make sure they're doing their schoolwork. I mean, my youngest, if I'd let her, she'd just play video games all day. And like, there have been times where I've been doing my work and I'm like, oh crap, I haven't had her do any assignments and it's 2:00. So yeah, it's tough. Feeding everyone, including my wife, because she's quarantined in our bedroom. So I have to make meals for her and, do the laundry and it's tough. It is tough. And not that I didn't know how tough it was being a parent, but like doing it single-handedly, whew. And I only did it for a week. So
well, Haley can expect a great Valentine's Day present, right?
Yeah. Also, she got me a really great Valentine's Day present. She bought me a greenhouse.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, like she was like, it came right before she got sick. And she was like, hey, your present's here. I really wanted to hide it from you, but I can't because it was in 2 big boxes.
Yeah.
And so I had to go get it. I was like, oh my God, a greenhouse. So yeah, now I'm going to have a little greenhouse to help the Arlington Field Lab prosper.
Excellent.
It's getting bigger, onward and upward with that thing.
Yeah. I've got a new raised bed, also compliments of my wife. So, I'm going to be making food for everyone here. In my household, not everyone in Arlington. That's a lofty goal. One day.
Yeah. 2030.
Yes, Arlington Field Lab, East 2030. What about you, Rody? What did you get up to in the city of Arlington?
Well, this will be coming out, I guess, on Thursday. So tonight I will be at Grounds and Gold for their open mic. It is the second or every other Tuesday, or every other Thursday. I'm sorry. So from 5 to 7, I'll be doing that. This coming Friday, I will be, you guys don't know this yet. Earlier today, Kyle from Pele Pro Wrestling asked me to be the backstage interview guy. So,
whoa, that's so cool.
So
no way.
I'll be the Mean Gene for the Pele Pro Wrestling.
That's awesome. Like a dream come true.
He said that. I was like, duh. Why wouldn't I do that?
Yes, I'll do that. Absolutely.
How often is that?
So they're going to have an event this Friday night at Legal Draft starting at 8:00. The VIP starts at 7:00. So come up, meet all the guys, support local wrestling. And then they will probably not have another show till May or June. Kyle's wife is expecting and should be giving birth. Yeah.
Definitely got to be there for that.
Yep. Yeah. There's no way he's going to miss that for wrestling.
Nope.
I mean, a lot of guys do in their business, but he didn't want to do that at all. So, believe May or June will be their next event. Probably also at Legal Draft, which is going to be amazing.
Awesome. Congratulations, Rudy.
Yeah, man. Let's moving on up.
I know.
Look at you, George Jefferson.
Baby steps. Just one day ring announcer WrestleMania. I don't know,
just whatever. Whatever happens. It's fine.
I could be the new Bobby Heenan.
Maybe at WrestleMania, the next WrestleMania that's here next year, maybe you're in the WWE. I don't know.
I'm just saying, putting it out there.
See what happens.
That's what the secret is all about.
Josh Sowers, the voice of the UTA men's basketball team. How are you today, sir?
Good to talk to you, man. It's we're doing okay up here in Arkansas and enjoying a cold day, but doing all right.
Yeah, it's actually down here in Texas. It's around high 50s, low 60s. So I'm sure you're loving that weather, I guess.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's long sleeves, it's jackets, but it's that time of year. So no, it feels great outside.
That's true. If you're walking around the shorts, I think people are going to look at you a little funny.
Well, I'm doing that right now, so there you go.
Well, I mean, outside in the shorts. I mean, you could.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah. So, how are the men's basketball team doing this year?
Well, as you know, it's been quite the year for pretty much every college college athletic administration, just trying to get through the season. But the good news for the UTA team, the men's team, is it's been all right. We've got to play pretty much every game scheduled and on time, and season's starting to look up. We're sitting at 4-4 in conference right now, and had a couple tough losses, but we've also had a couple big wins, and we got a huge 2 games this weekend up here against Arkansas State.
Very nice. So you did call other team sports during this COVID situation, but now you're just focusing on the men's. Have you seen a different kind of camaraderie or just different atmospheres when it comes from different sports?
Yeah, it's everyone's a little closer together, and I think everyone's obviously being obviously a little bit more careful because you obviously trying to stay away from COVID as best you can, and sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes you just catch it. That's kind of what we've learned, but it's a little bit more maybe lonelier on the road just because there's not as many people like in the hotels and the hotel lobby, and we're not taking any flight trips this year, so it's all been on the bus. So for the most part, it's kind of the same. It's just a lot less. You see a lot less people, obviously.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask, how is it calling these games and just being at these games in general with no fans?
It's the good news is some schools, including UTA, are allowing fans in a very limited capacity. UTA is maxing out at 600, and they're selling tickets in pods. And everyone wears masks, and they are safe. And I have called a couple games this season where there have been no fans allowed, and it's been a quiet arena. And for me personally, usually I sit along the scores table at some schools. My location has changed a few times when we're going to these games. My location at UTA changed, trying to put in those safety protocols. But it's been definitely a little bit different of an experience, especially talking into a microphone while wearing a mask the whole time. Right.
I have seen on other sports and but the commentators, either they're wearing the mask while they're doing commentary or they're not. I guess it depends on how close they are and if there is like plexiglass around them or not.
Yes, and I called a game up in Tulsa earlier this year in that was late November, early December, and they had plexiglass up. Felt like I was kind of in a hockey penalty box, but you're just surrounded by plexiglass. And there's been a few schools that do that, but everyone's got their own protocols, and for the most part, everyone's doing it right and staying safe.
Right. So, as the commentator, how much prep do you kind of do for each game, and do you try to prep ahead, or you just try to do it game by game?
You definitely prep ahead. I would say it's probably a good. I probably don't get comfortable doing a game till I probably get at least 5 to 6 hours of prep. Anything below that, I feel like I've wasted my time and I haven't done my job correctly. There are other broadcasters out there that kind of just don't really prep at all, and it kind of shows. But I try to at least, I try to know the other team. I try to know, just as much about the other team as I know about my team. But yeah, if anything under the 5 hour mark, I get a little nervous and I don't like it. So I try to be as prepared as I can.
Right. Because you do hear some commentators. I mean, obviously you could tell they're more reactionary commentators than they really are, I guess, play by play. But you get some of them that they are like delving deep into these players' social media, whether it be their Twitter, Instagram, or sometimes even TikTok, and will mention certain things. I mean, do you get that detailed, or are we just kind of just what you can actually maintain? Because otherwise, that's all you're having to live by.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's, I don't go down that road too much unless, I hear some pregame chatter. I see something online that hey, you need to go watch this video of somebody posted, like Juju Smith-Schuster dancing, for the Steelers, right. As crazy as that's been. But I don't go down that road too much. But if I hear of something that's happening, then absolutely, we'll go take a look at it.
Right. So like we talked about last time you were on the show, your sock game has been amazing. We haven't seen too much of it this year, but you are killing it with the orange and blue plaid jacket, tie, and pocket square. Not all at the same time, but in separate occasions.
It's go ahead.
I was going to say, is there anything else you're wearing this season that we can look forward to, or do you kind of try to change it up every season?
Well, here's what's happened this year is all the basketball coaches around the NCAA pretty much all agreed that, if we're not going to have fans in the stand, we don't necessarily need to wear the suit and tie every game. So everyone's gone a little casual, and you'll notice that on ESPN, you'll notice that on sports channels and your local news that everyone's wearing a little bit more casual clothing nowadays. It's not necessarily the suit and tie. I have not worn the suit and tie as much as this year because usually that's what I do every game. And obviously break out the socks, but I kind of kept it for me to, hey, because we play double headers Friday and Saturday. We'll keep the suit. We'll keep looking good on Friday, but Saturday I'm rolling out of bed pretty much.
Yeah, I've noticed some because you obviously like to post a picture ahead of time of kind of what your view is and what you're looking at. And you do seem to be enjoying those Celsius energy drinks, and I'm with you on that.
They are quite delicious, and I have a couple in my fridge in my room, 302 right now. So I'm a big proponent of the Celsius energy drinks, and I won't lie to you that I've put a little stock money into them as well. So big fan of those.
Makes sense. What flavor is your favorite?
Man, I'm going to go the very probably unpopular choice of cola, followed by the second most unpopular choice, which would be grape, and then I'll go into the green teas and whatnot.
So my favorite one is the cola, and my second is that it's like whatever that green tea one is.
Yeah, the mango green tea, something like that.
That's it. I mean, those two to me are the best. Grape is okay. Yeah. It's not terrible, but
yeah, they are quite delicious, and definitely have to have a one of those before the game just to keep the energy level up.
Oh, I get it. I have to have my 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and then about halfway through the day, I need another jolt, and then I'm good.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And when these games, it's kind of an all-day affair that there's no yawning on air. You got to keep going.
Yeah, you can't hit the mute just so you can yawn real fast.
No, that's not good at all.
So last time we talked to you was right before COVID was really taking hold of America. What did you eat the most during COVID?
Well, I drank some adult beverages. I'll tell you that much. But a lot of hope, a lot of homemade meals and in lean cuisine. I probably should have bought some stock in them because I probably invested in them the most over the COVID period. But and then another thing I did, tried to experiment with different things as well, trying to buy different foods that I don't normally buy and trying different ways of cooking and with chicken, salmon, and steaks and whatnot. So trying to be a little experimental because for a few months, time was all we had.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. I was eating local and drinking local, but then I was doing a little bit too much of all those. So now
it does happen, and you're not alone.
Yeah, well, people are drinking 2 to 3 times more than they normally would be anyway. Mm-hmm. A lot of people just literally they didn't have to leave the house if they didn't want to, and then now that we have these alcohol delivery services, dangerous.
Yeah, it's extremely dangerous, and I know people that go to work, and by go to work means they roll out of bed and go sit by their laptop, and then their fridge is with arm's length, and hey, the world's your oyster at that point.
Yeah, and if you're on any Zoom call, just looks like you're drinking out of a regular tumbler.
Absolutely. Wow, we're spilling all the secrets here today.
Hey, well, I'm not naming names or pointing fingers, but
oh, of course not.
Yeah. So, what can people look forward to for the rest of the season with the men's Mavs?
Well, we've got the team is starting to come together, and we've got a couple home games coming up, especially in the month of February. We started out on the road quite a bit in the month of January, but February we're back at College Park Center, and it's an exciting team. We've got a whole new bunch of cast and characters on this squad, and the team is starting to be rounded into shape as well. And with the doubleheader scheduling, Friday nights 6:00, and then Saturdays at 4:00. So if you can come out to both, that'd be awesome. But you get 2 chances on your weekend to come watch the men's team, and it's going to be a fight down the stretch because we're not. They've split us into divisions this year in the Sun Belt Conference, and we're not playing half the teams. We're in an East and West division, and that's all we're playing. So instead of only seeing a team twice, we're seeing a team 4 times this year. So it's kind of fueling some rivalries, and we've had some great games so far this season, and I expect nothing different this weekend. I expect nothing different till the end of the year.
without a doubt, especially if you're getting seeing these people 4 times instead of the twice. You're of course going to start getting familiar faces, and you're going to get the rivalry built up. Which every team is better if you get a nice rival.
Yes, absolutely. And, not saying we're going out swinging on anybody, but, when you have to scout a team 4 different times and you know what their weaknesses are, their strengths, it just it elevates it to another level.
Yeah, without a doubt. So where can people follow you on social media and listen to your sultry voice commentating?
Twitter at Josh Sowers, JOSHSOURS. I'm on Instagram as well. Don't post a ton there. And then Facebook, of course, out there. But radio station still the same. We're on KTNO 620 AM. And then we stream all the games on TuneIn as well using the radio station's link as well. And then iHeartRadio has a link out there as well. So you don't necessarily have to be by a radio to listen to the games, but try to make it a lot of fun. And love hearing listeners and love hearing comments on Twitter, because try to tweet as much as I can during the game to keep everybody up to date, and love getting any feedback.
Yeah, if people aren't following you on Twitter, they need to, because like you said, during the games, you are on top of it. You are given the update as if you're commentating. I mean, you might be doing voice to text. I don't know, because you're working so fast.
It's no, but that's a good idea. I probably should look into doing something like that. Yeah, with our sports information director who does the tweeting from the main account, me and him kind of have a race to see who can get the tweet out the fastest.
Well, then you need to work on you need somebody else to do the GIFs for you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be top talent right there, and I don't think I've achieved that just yet.
2021 goals right there.
Hey, we're getting there.
Hey, there you go. Josh, I appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking to you again.
John, pleasure as always. Love what y'all are doing with the city of Arlington, and it's been a pleasure as always. And, yeah, I can't wait to talk to you again.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, we are here with Robbie and Tony, local Arlington musicians. How are you guys doing?
Doing really well.
A little sleepy, but we're doing all right, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a slow start for me this morning, too. So, first off, you guys are local musicians. You said that you met in the high school choir at Arlington High. How did that experience shape who you are today?
I'd say it definitely played a paramount role for me. And I mean, I guess for Tony too, because we're both the singers in the multiple projects that we've been doing. So, it really was a solid foundation to kind of, jumpstart what we were going to do later in life musically.
For a high school choir, we took stuff pretty seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And Robbie was an all-state choir member, and he was a few years older, and so I really looked up to the dude. And he had a solo his senior year. And that's kind of what made me want to be on stage. So,
yeah,
I was
that's
really
awesome.
happy to be in a project with him after that.
Very nice. So, like you just mentioned, you've been part of many projects: Orange Street, Weekend Edition, Conifer. I was making sure. Which ones were your favorite, and what genre would you guys describe your music?
My favorite one, I'd say for cover band wise, it'd probably have to be Weekend Edition, because we did so much, and we expanded from a 4-piece in the beginning all the way up to a 6-piece, which allowed us to really kind of get into the classic rock genre, which is where we laid our foundation for that particular group. But original wise, I mean, Conifer it's probably definitely my favorite so far, only because it's the only original project that I've done here lately that wasn't solo stuff that I did in high school a long time ago. But I'm really looking forward to the original stuff that me and Tony and our third member Christopher are going to be writing here soon. Totally different from that rock and roll right in your face, and much more laid back and mellow type of thing. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That's very nice.
I just want to say the Weekend Edition is a great name for a cover band.
Yeah, thank you.
Super great name for that kind of cover band. I was thinking about that as I was reading about it, and I was like, man, that's such a great name. So what are your influences? Like, who inspired you to kind of play music?
I'll let you take that one first. But
I was always an R&B guy growing up. I listened to a lot of Michael Jackson, Prince, a lot of Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Red Hot Chili Peppers on the other side of that. People call me a musical infant a little bit because I like them. But,
I love the Chili Peppers.
I say, what's wrong with that?
Yes.
They're all good musicians. Like,
Yeah.
They're such great musicians.
They just try not to take themselves too seriously, and I think that's important too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt. People who do take themselves way too seriously, obviously people don't like as much. Like, look at Coldplay. I like Coldplay, but they take themselves way too seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a balance you have to strike, or some of the better ones strike. Like Dave Grohl takes his musician, like he's very serious, but he's also a super goofy dude.
Yeah. Fresh pots.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Super goofy, but then he has done a documentary. He's done 10 albums, like with the Nirvana and the Foo Fighters. So like he obviously takes his craft very seriously, but doesn't take himself very seriously.
Right.
I guess, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I mean, growing up, my dad was a really big Beatles fan, so that's kind of what started it for me. And I didn't really start to blossom into other types of music until I met one of my really good friends in junior high. His parents were big rock and rollers back in the day, and so kind of jump-started me into my holy triumvirate, which would be Kiss, AC/DC, and Iron Maiden.
Oh, wow, nice.
And then from there, it just kind of branched off into all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as writing music now, I've definitely gone back to the Beatles more along the lines of like Paul McCartney's solo stuff and what he was doing with Wings, and then RHCP as well. I'm a big fan of theirs, and I think what has always drawn me to them is the ability for them to work in so much vocal harmony into their stuff, which I love. And that's the one thing that I was really drawn to with Tony when we were super young. I was like, I can sing with this guy. We can sing anything together. So, yeah.
I guess having that choir background probably helps too. Because, like, I play music as well. Amy and I play music together sometimes. But I would say I'm not the greatest vocalist. But I didn't have any sort of training. It was me and the punk rock kids at my high school. Like that's where we can play music now. So that's cool. I think that it's cool that you're able to use that background that you kind of got as a younger person even today. That's really cool.
Before Amy, you asked this question, we usually ask people, which your favorite Beatle?
Oh, it's Paul.
Okay.
Paul hands down for me.
Gotcha.
Agreed.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Man, that's such
same.
Agreed.
I should have said agree. Pete Best. I really missed a chance to get a good joke in.
A lot of people say John, and I love John. Don't
get
me wrong.
They do.
But I like Paul's pop sensibilities a lot better than... I'm not that saying John didn't have good pop sensibilities, but like... I think he was, especially later in his career, was more avant-garde than Paul McCartney was. And
that's a great blend of taking yourself too seriously and not seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. I mean, look at the cover of that Ram album that he did, right? Like, it's him and a sheep, like, that's ridiculous, but there it is.
How can you be in a band with two people that can write a song like Imagine, and then, Paul's over here writing a song about brushing his teeth?
And then they just mash them together. Yeah. My favorite has always been John, and probably always will be. But I like his punk rockness, and I love his. I'm not a big fan of the Wings stuff. I think I like one of their songs, but I love
polarizing.
Yes, I really love
solo stuff's really good too. I think.
Yeah, and I love John's solo stuff, and a lot of people can't stand it.
Yeah, it's hard for me to listen to some of it's great, but some of it I'm just like, what were you doing? I mean, I know what he was doing. It was cocaine, but
right.
I love George Martin, so it's just.
I love George Martin too. Like absolutely, like people don't give him enough credit. Like
he's got to wrangle all of that brilliantness you guys were just talking about. He's got to wrangle all of that, and figuring out how to record all of that.
Right,
especially in the '60s when it was like 4 microphones for the entire band.
Most of that stuff was just 4-track. Like
almost all of it was. I don't even think they did an 8-track until like the last album that they did.
Oh wow!
And they weren't even on the same room for that one.
So. All right. So, how has COVID affected your ability to play like you would want to?
Oh boy. So much frustration, as I imagine everyone else has felt too. I think so. Last year. I want to say our last live show was about March, sometime in the end of March when everything was starting to get into gear. And or rather get out of gear.
Yeah, right.
And then we really didn't do anything for a while. We weren't sure what we wanted to try to do, if we were going to try to still squeeze in live places, but then eventually we saw a lot of our other friends and bands doing virtual stuff, so we're like, hey, we'll take a swing at this virtual thing, and had played, I think, 3 virtual shows. Each one got a little progressively better than the next.
And that happens.
Yeah.
We're doing all this new stuff, right?
Exactly.
Like,
And you have nobody to feed off of.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, and that was the hardest thing too. I think for a lot of us is like we have to still kind of keep this energy up, and it killed me too because the fans, we like to be there. We like you said, we feed off their energy, they feed off of ours, and but we wanted to try to get our music out to them in one way or another. So virtual is has been the way to go.
Yeah.
It was really tough. We tried to stay proactive as a band, and since we couldn't play live shows and be around any of our fans, we wanted to give them something, and so that's when we decided to come together to make the album and just have something tangible that we could show people that we hadn't been just sitting on our hands during all this when we couldn't really be around them.
Right.
So we thought that was important.
So on the other side of it, what are some of the favorite or Arlington venues that you have played in?
Let me think. So I'm at the top of the list for me is Texas Live.
Yeah.
So that was cool, and that was more of a we kind of fell into that thing, and it was their second weekend open, and we were. I don't know if it's officially, unofficially, but still officially, we were the first local band to play at the big stage there at the Arlington backyard.
Yeah.
And that was weekend edition, so we were doing covers, but man, we rocked that place like we had sold out Wembley or something.
That was a lot of fun. That's definitely the most fun I've had on stage.
That's definitely my favorite one. We haven't played at caves before, but I have always really enjoyed watching people play at caves because it's such a close space for everyone, and we're breathing on everyone, or everyone's rubbing up on each other. And
that sounds horrible right now. What a nightmare.
I miss it.
I also miss caves. I grew up at caves.
They're still open.
I know that, but it's COVID, man. I'm staying at home with my kids. But I do feel there's like an energy that you get from. There's 2 types of energies, I think, because you're talking about doing Texas Live. That's a definite energy you're getting from the crowd. But there's also a more intimate energy I think you can get at a place like Caves because it is so small and everyone is kind of on top of each other. Those shows I've been to at Caves have always been some really good shows.
Yeah.
So tell us about Milk and Honey. Where did the inspiration come from for that?
So that one, let me think here. I think it started with just the a chord progression or just some type of lick that I had played on the piano, and I was like, oh, hey, this is kind of cool. And I fiddled with it for a while and eventually came up with an entire progression that I liked for a chorus and then one that I liked for a verse. And then I'm pretty sure I had showed it to Tony and Christopher, the third member. And they really liked it, and they were like, "Let's go with this." And then I started working on the lyrics, which what I tried to do was think of a story. I wanted to get a narrative in my head, figure out what's happening in the story. That way, I could kind of break it down, verse by verse into the choruses and stuff like that. And then and everyone just kind of fell in love with it, which I was super happy about.
Sure, absolutely. That's always what you want as a songwriter, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And you're going to give us a recording of that, right? So
Yeah.
we can play it?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
after that.
I was going to
stay
ask
tuned for
about that off the air, but yeah, absolutely good. I'm glad that we've already.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. And that one too. I also wanted to make sure that because with Conifer, we don't think of ourselves as one of us is the lead and one of us is the backup. We try to do. We're trying to do split lead vocals is what we try to coin it. And so for that one, I really wanted to write something that we could both almost sound like we're singing the lead part the entire time. And even in the choruses and stuff, Tony would sing the melody and I'm singing backup, and then in the verses, I might sing back. Yeah, and then we'll switch back and forth.
It comes a lot from his Kiss background. It's kind of Gene and Paul kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm a big Kiss fan. I'm not going to be ashamed of that.
That was my first show ever, and I've just fallen in love with them and will always love them forever.
Do you still have the Gene Simmons outfit?
I still do.
How often are you dressing up like Gene?
I haven't done it in a while,
Wow.
but when I think starting in junior high all the way through college, I think so. a little over 10 years, I was dean for Halloween.
Cool.
Very cool. Nice. Do you have like a prosthetic tongue that you use, or do you?
Nope, all natural. I'd show you, but the floor's dirty. So.
Oh, wow. So we have a segment on the show called Tournament of Toppings. We're trying to find the best pizza place in Arlington.
Oh, okay.
What's y'all's favorite pizza places in Arlington?
Old school.
Yeah. I was gonna say old school. I mean, it's so it's just so good. It makes me hungry. And I just had McDonald's, but it's so good. Yeah, the cheese bread, and I love their Alfredo pizza. Oh man.
Oh, that is good.
I don't think I've had that yet.
Yeah.
And of course,
I love Alfredo pizza. But...
Going to Arlington High, you always go across the street and eat some pizza.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's one. I live in South Arlington, real close to Mansfield, and there's a place right off of 360 in Green Oaks called Brooklyn's Best.
Yeah.
And I go there a lot. My brother and sister, my brother-in-law and sister live over there, and they get them a lot. So, man, they just do some good pizza, and they have good other stuff too, which is it's so good.
Yeah. So the people, so Iris Bagels on Green Oaks and 20. They just bought the Nisa Pizza across the street from Arlington High.
Oh, cool.
So they're going to start running that, I believe, in February. So
right
yeah. So they have new owners at Iris, and then the Iris owners will now own Nisa Pizza.
Interesting.
Yeah. They talked to me about that.
We're done with the bagels. We want to do pizza now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to ask them about it, but they haven't gotten to sit them down yet.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
It's hard to pin them down. It really.
They're
I've been
super
trying
nice
a
to talk
couple
to,
years.
but
Yeah. Okay, so where can people find your music, your social media? Where can they follow you?
Yeah. So right now, for Conifer, we've still got all of our Facebook and Twitters and Instagram. I think everything there is at Conifer the Band.
Okay.
And then the website is going to be the same handle, so conifertheband.com or pinefreshtunes.com, and it'll take you to the same place. We are unfortunately going to be moving on from that project here in just a month or so. So Tony, I, and Christopher are going to be doing something completely new. I'm not sure what that name is going to be, but yeah. But for the time being, conifertheband.com is where you can find everything.
Will you have like new stuff? Like, hey, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you guys for coming in and. Talking a little bit about your musical journey here in Arlington. We are real big supporters of musicians in Arlington, especially people that have a background in Arlington and like to stick around here. And it's one of the things we talk about a lot on the show is, people don't know it, but Arlington's got a little scene going on.
Yeah, absolutely it does.
So I'm glad that you guys are a part of it. I'm excited to see what your new project looks like.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, guys, thank you all.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. And of course, thank you to our guests, the wonderful, always animated Josh Sowers. We always enjoy you on. Thank you for taking care of our UTA basketball team. We need you and you're great. And thank you, Robbie and Tony. I was impressed with how long you guys have been playing here, and please continue to do so. We're looking forward to future projects.
Yeah.
So don't forget to.
Oh,
sorry.
I was going to say, those guys have been singing together since junior high, so that's insane.
Yeah, like if you and I had been hosting this podcast since junior high, first off, we'd be millionaires because people would be like, what's a podcast? But
you'd have to invent the iPhone first.
Yeah, well, sure, but maybe we would have gotten there. If we didn't go to school together, though, that was the thing. We missed our high school. We didn't go to, we probably would have invented the iPhone had we gone to school together. That's all I'm going to say.
Sure. And that's fate.
Yeah. Instead, we started a podcast 20 years after we graduated high school.
All right. We got 20 more to go.
Yeah, we got 20 more years.
So don't forget to
go out and eat local, drink local, and
go rediscover your city.
Tag us and send those pictures over to us on Facebook, Arlington Citizen Media, Twitter, ATX Citizen Media. Tag us on Instagram, Arlington Citizen Media, and send those pictures the old-fashioned way. Email arlingtoncitizenmedia@gmail.com. Also go to our website, www.arlingtoncitizenmedia.com. Don't forget to subscribe and give those 5-star reviews of the Downtown at Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, And also hit us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.